Hi guys, welcome back for another video. So today I'm talking about something completely different. I just want to get the elephant out the room or whatever. I feel like, or event session. I feel like every time I hop on here, low-key, I'm doing something different. As I reflect like on my videos, I went from like hair to fashion to like books, and I just feel like I want to niche myself so bad because I feel like that's what people tell you to do when you're making content. But honestly, I just don't want to niche myself right now because I feel like I want that, if that happens, I want it to come organically, and the things that, or the content that I'm producing, I just want, you know, to share what I want to share, talk about what I want to talk about. And if I do niche myself, like I had said, it just so happens that it becomes organic. But a lot of things that I film and I create are just like based on where I am in my life, or like what my interests are. Although fashion, hair, beauty, all those things are a continuous interest of mine, right now at the forefront is basically what this video is, what I'm making. So I'm a teacher. I don't know if I ever mentioned that on my channel, but I'm a special education teacher in New York City. So currently I'm in school and I'm trying to transition over to be a school counselor. So I wanted to make this video because I kind of found myself looking up videos and I didn't really find that much. So I want to share like my transition from being a school teacher to a school counselor. And I want to kind of record and document that journey for others and for myself as well. So this video is basically going to be just that. I'm going to talk about why I'm deciding to go from a school teacher to a school counselor. So if you're interested in that, then keep on watching. Sorry if I'm looking down, I have it on my phone, or I have some like notes on my phone so I stay on track. But essentially it's 4 reasons for me. There's probably more, but these are the 4 that I'm going to talk about that are right at the front of my mental. So just background, I've always been into psychology and stuff like that. My bachelor's is in sociology with a minor in psychology. So that's something that I've always been interested in. I always thought that I was going to be like a counselor of some sort, like mental health, or I really wanted to be a psychiatrist, but I'm not pursuing that. That's a little too much for me. But anywho, so yes, I found myself after my bachelor's basically like, what am I gonna do with the sociology bachelor's? Like, that is so broad. So I looked into different things that I could do, and I found the teaching fellows. Basically, if you're not familiar, that is a program in New York City where if you have a bachelor's of whatever it may be, it could literally be nursing, culinary, marketing, literally anything, and you want to become a teacher, you enter into this program, and essentially they train you to become a teacher. And what's nice about it is that it's not free, but you know, it's easy for you to secure employment at a certain part of the program. And then once you become a New York City teacher and you begin working, the money for your degree just comes out of your check. So yes, you're still paying for it, but it's not something like, oh, I need to, you know, save up money to go to school, or I need to take out a loan, or I need to figure out how I'm going to pay this school. It's just like you're working and it's coming out of your check. That's basically it. So I believe, it's been a while since I graduated, so I believe it's like in your 2nd year. I could be wrong, but you know, when you're paid off and then you just get your salary as like without the deductions from the degree. So it's a pretty cool program because you end up having a master's in education. So that's what I have now. And my journey as a special education teacher in the city has been a roller coaster of emotions. It has been very hectic, fulfilling, rewarding, fun, devastating, like literally all the things. But I am in a point now where I want to transition out of the classroom. So these are where these points come in now. But I just wanted to give you guys a background of myself in general. So first and foremost, as a New York City teacher, once you obtain your master's, there's something called like your MA plus 30, which essentially that means your master's plus 30 credits. So now these 30 credits that you earn after you have a master's do not have to be anything that's working towards another degree specifically. It just has to be 30 credits in anything. So if I wanted to, let's just say I have my master's, I'm working towards my MA plus 30, I can literally take a drama class, a writing class, a math class. Like I could take anything. But if we're wise here now, we're gonna work towards something, you know? And usually that's what people do. So like if you're a teacher and you like English, you would probably work towards getting a degree in something that pertains to literacy, right? So that's just that. So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm a teacher, and for me to get a pay raise and go up in that pay scale, I need to get my plus 30. That's one of my reasons for going back to school, right? Like I want to get paid more money. Being that I have to go to school anyways, this is just a pro. It's not my main driving force, but being that I do have to go to school since I'm an educator and I want to get paid more money, I decided to now take advantage of this opportunity to pursue what I actually wanted to do, which is something in the mental health realm. So being that I already am secured in a school and I'm in the Department of Education for the city, I thought to myself it would be wise to now pursue maybe school counseling, because that way I have my foot in the door already as a you know, personnel that works in a school, and I can now work on those things that I want to do that are more mental health focused. So my second reason is that as a teacher, I noticed that kids in general, in high school especially, it's such a interesting time, right? Like you're trying to figure out who you want to be, and you may be having problems at home. Like it's just like so many things. You're on your journey literally to becoming a young adult. So there's so many factors there, and I've realized in the classroom you cannot really focus on your academics if your mental health isn't intact, right? Like, or even as a teacher, right? Like a lot of teachers focus on building rapport with students before we even talk about anything that has to do with work. And that is very real, because if you don't have a relationship with a kid, it's gonna be so hard for that kid to even learn from you. And I definitely learned that, like, okay, I have to have a connection with like each and every one of them, or you know, some type of just like a positive vibe, if you want to say. Like, not saying that we're like this, but you know, they're like, oh, they respect me, I respect them, kind of thing. So I realized basically the importance of social emotional and how it affects academics. And I've had times that I had to like counsel, like I'm not a counselor yet, but counsel or maybe advise students on something that may be happening within the school or at home, that they felt like I'm someone that they could talk to. So, and I really found those particular moments super rewarding. Like, aside, like the academics, yes, when they reach those milestones for the academics, where they reach those goals, those academic goals, it's great. But for me personally, when I'm able to like connect with them more on a social level, I found that very fulfilling. That's a reason why I'm like, okay, I assessed myself and I'm like, wow, so when I have these one-on-one with students and I have these type of interactions with students, I find it way more impactful, and I find that I want to help them in those areas of their life as well. And as a teacher, yes, you can do those things, but you're very limited, right? Because you have to still teach a class with all the kids, so you don't really have time to address social emotional things, and you really don't even have time to address academic things, really, because that's why you have paraprofessionals or teaching assistants in the room. You really can't always work one-to-one with a kid because you have to be the person that's for everyone, available to everyone, you know? So yeah, just being able to kind of give students more of that like one-to-one guidance in all areas of their life, whether that be academic, social emotional, career, that's something that I see myself wanting to do, or having more motivation to get up in the morning and like tackle that and like be full force with that than just being a teacher. I feel like I'm talking a lot. Are you guys listening? Third reason, I'm sorry, is that you're just out of the classroom. Counselor, you're not like on this rigid schedule of a teacher. Like, you're not following the regular bell schedule. You know, teaching classes back to back, that can be very draining. So teaching back to back is like I'm at a point where I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm going into my 5th year next year, and this is why I had to do a lot of self-reflecting, because of course when I go into work, I'm giving it my all and I'm addressing the students' needs, you know, teaching, trying to build the lesson plan based on the curriculum, right, the best that I can in the most engaging way. But I'm finding myself not having like that passion or love for it anymore, and I feel like that's when I really had to say, hey, we have to do a career change, because I also don't want to be a disservice to the kids, you know? Like, I don't want to be a teacher that's here for like 10 years and I'm like, oh my God, I have to, like, I don't want to do that, because then that's going to reflect on my craft and that's going to transfer onto the kids. And the last thing I want to do is be a disservice to the children, because at the end of the day, that's why anyone in the school is there. It's literally for the well-being of the child. So that's why I'm doing what I have to do to transition. So school counselors are out of the classroom. They're able to make their own schedules based on whatever kids they're mandated to see. Mandated meaning like that kid has to have counseling on an IEP, which is like an individualized education plan, or maybe in another means, but for right now, that's all I know that would make a kid be mandated. But anyways, it's basically like this kid needs to have counseling services. So basically, if that kid has to have counseling services, and if there's any additional kids that you want to see, then that counselor will cater their schedule in whatever way works best for them and the kids. But that means they have a little more liberty in their planning, how they want to go about certain things. Also, this is, again, from my experience, I work very closely with my school counselor because I see her as a friend and also mentor for my internship. Because you also, in the program that I'm in, you need to go through internship hours and you need a mentor to approve your hours and such. So a lot of what I'm speaking on is based on what I've personally seen her do and the other counselors in my particular school. I know that counselor duties and activities could look different depending on the school. So that's why I just want to be clear that this is my experience of what I've seen. But overall, I know that they generally have more flexibility than teachers. So something that my school counselor does, she organizes a lot of school-wide events. I help her do those things to the capacity that I'm able to. But that's why I want to branch off to this career path, because I love planning school-wide events. Like if it's, you know, anything, like for Hispanic Heritage Month, they do something. Black History Month, they do something, you know, like graduation, they help plan. Like anything you could think of that a school celebrates, like usually counselors are behind the scenes helping plan those things along with other school personnel, but they, again, in my experience, have been the forefront of those things. So that's really a huge reason too. I love to be involved in like school-wide events and planning, and like career development day, we have stuff like that, or just being able to have the time to kind of think of activities that are school-wide and spearhead them. So as a teacher, I do not have that time. I've had ideas and I went to her and we're like, oh, let's do a student versus staff kickball game and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, thankfully she is the wonderful person that she is, because she ends up taking on a larger portion of that workload. Even though I went to her and I was like, hey, let's do a student versus staff game, she ends up doing most of the work. But it's genuinely because I cannot, like in the periods that I'm teaching, she, for example, let's say one of her kids is absent and she was mandated to see him. Like now she has a free like couple of whatever, I don't know, I want to speak to her schedule, but you get what I mean. Like there's more flexibility. Or she could tell a kid like, hey, I'm gonna pick you up in like 10 minutes, whatever. Like they just have more flexibility and she's able to like engage in those things. And also, this isn't a whole point, but during our meetings where we like collaborate and we come together to talk about student concerns or strengths, whatever the case is, you know, we'll tell stories about, like, let's say a kid had an outburst in my class, like for example, she would be like, wow, I'm surprised. And it's because she knows, she even said like, I know environment where there's like no expectation, right? So like she sees them in a counseling office where they discuss things, whatever it is that they discuss, and then we're teachers that we do have expectations in the classroom. So the way that she experiences students is different than the way we will experience students, right? Because it's the expectations and everything is just different, right? So I think that's really cool how she'll be surprised sometimes if we're talking about like, oh, this happened or whatever, and she'll be like, oh wow, like, because you know, I don't experience that. I don't experience, you know, I don't have him under the pressures of like needing to do his ELA project or whatever. So just like the experiences that you have to with kids are different, like for sure. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out. And my final reason is that ultimately, I'm saying this loosely because I can start my career in counseling and like be obsessed and just want to retire as a school counselor, but I do have this vision for myself, thinking future, way ahead, that I want to transition to mental health or simultaneously work mental health, meaning, you know, like providing therapy to individuals. So however that may look. I know of school counselors that they are school counselors, and then let's say for summer, since we have off or you're not obligated to work in the summer, they'll do virtual therapy sessions with clients. So I think that sounds like a very beautiful, happy medium, because I want to also provide therapy and become a trained and licensed therapist to help, you know, individuals. I did want to do marriage and family, but I don't know specifically where I want to go. That's why I said this is like future. So I'm just like have an overview, but I need to take things one step at a time so I don't get overwhelmed. So yes, these are basically the 4 reasons why I'm transitioning into the school counseling role. And honestly, if you're a school counselor watching this, or even a teacher, definitely comment down below and share your experience, whether it be as a school counselor, a teacher, or even a mental health professional, because I feel like whatever you guys share could definitely help me, help other people that clicked on this video, and just like sharing the wealth of knowledge and experiences, I think that would be really helpful. So yeah, that concludes the video. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.